Well, good morning. It is Wednesday Wellness or Wellness Wednesday, and we are here for you. I love to be here for you guys, and I want to thank you as a national audience for all that you do to contribute to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast and Healing Center. As you know, our Wednesday Wellness is all about being well, staying well, getting well. And you can do that as you see the need to do that. When we're checking into ourselves, what exactly are we to look for? Because there are so many people that aren't familiar with what to look for. We're going to talk about what wellness is, what wellness needs are. And by the way, our line is open at 1-888-721-9260. Our lines are strictly for you as our national clients. As we talk to you, you are free to call into our lines and check into us. You're free to conversate. You're free to be online with us. And we know that you're getting our line, so thank you. As you see, and I want to make announcement of this, that our wellness, Wednesday Wellness check-in is all about wellness. And I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to get my book. The book is Men and Their Emotions. If you have not gotten the chance, I ask that you do so. The only way that you're going to be able to get it is by DMing me at social media on Facebook. And our Cashapp is Vibetalkfacethelion. Our the only way is that you can buy it. Our proceeds are always for making a better place for the Healing Center, which is now in a private area. And so if you need to come, you can still come by appointment or video. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
Today is all about checking in to wellness, how we care for our needs. And I'm going to talk about it because I think it's important not just to do a wellness check, because they have it where lawfully that if your loved one is missing in action, or you're concerned because you haven't seen them, that you can contact your local police department or fire department to do what is a wellness check. How many of you knew that? Yes, you can do that. But now, what about yourself? Do you check in to your wellness? Today's candle is basil and garden. If you have a candle, I would love for you to put it in the comments. And every Wednesday, we want you to get a calming for yourself. Find a space that you can safely light your candle. Let me know what you guys are choosing as your candles. So, when we think about the things that we go through, the wellness things, oftentimes people think physical, and we all need to be well physically. If you're struggling with any type of physical symptoms, we are not a doctor. We simply are engaging in mental and emotional discussions to start healing our thinking, our brain, our beautiful brain, our beautiful heart muscle to feel well. So when we think about the things that have happened, the things that are happening in our life or have happened, we think about our safety. Where do we belong? Self-worth. How much are you willing to invest in yourselves? And if your life is out of control, what can you do to put the control back in your life? Being accountable for your life and purpose. We all talk about well-being. You've heard us talk about well-being, talk about well-being, talk about well-being. How are we doing that when it comes to the above mentioned? What about our needs to do so? Does anyone have a need to be able to consider? We're going to go through these needs, and I want you, if you can, to participate in our conversation live and interactive. Now, before we go on, I just want to touch on something so that you're aware that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast has different looks. Right now, we're in the midst of promoting this beautiful book. Next week, we'll start the workshop. We will start the workshop. It will not be recorded. It will not be recorded for the public. All the information as to how to enroll in the Men and Emotions workshop is on our Facebook page. All you have to do is click it. We will renew it. We will renew it on our YouTube pages as well so that you have all the information, and it does require a registration. Why are we doing it this way? Because everything that we do has an order. You're going to get in that workshop for the first 4 days, you're going to understand the man in your life. So men, it is a workshop for you, but you can bring whomever you like. And the $50 covers the $25 for the workshop for the first 4 days. Okay? And that's only one time. You don't have to keep paying it every time you click on. Okay? The 25 and then the 25 for the workbook you're going to get. It's pretty extensive. So I'm excited. How about you, Trish? How are you feeling about this? Because you don't have to agree with me.
I'm excited for this as well, and I just hope you guys like it and join it and gain from it mentally. So I'm so excited for it to start.
Yeah, so it'll be starting. The times are on that. Remember that I'm on West Coast. So the Pacific Standard Time is West Coast time. You have to figure out what time it would be in your area because we have a national podcast. So people from all over are listening. Just want to put that out there. So in case you're wondering, the only way you're going to get the book is by DMing us that you want the book. We send you a link and you pay for the book, and then we will be able to see that you paid for it, and we get right to you with an online book. I am excited. I bet you wonder how many books are in circulation. I'm going to tell you right now. There are 5 books in circulation. Thank you to those who have supported the cause for mental and emotional health. Now, back to our subject today, which is checking in. We've had one before, but not quite the same. I'm going to ask you a question because I'm going to put a question mark to that. Are you checking in to you? What are your needs? Because we all have needs. Sometimes we just need still and calm moments. Have you ever had a time where you just needed to be still, be calm? Anybody ever had a moment like that?
I have.
And what was that like for you?
It was very well needed because that day I was going through a busy day because sometimes when you get busy, you forget to pause and calm down because you're in the hustle and bustle of things. So I decided to just come in my room, sit down for a while, and just calm down, wind down because that I was on my feet all day that day. So yeah, that felt it was well needed.
Yeah, we all need that. Check into yourself right now by asking yourself, when was the last time that you had a be still moment? You know, sometimes because we're overwhelmed, we'll tell the kids, be quiet, be still. Because we are so overwhelmed with the energy that has flooded the room. And why do we do that? Because we're overwhelmed. You're when you are in a room or when you're in an environment, you get stimulated. And there is such a thing of overstimulation. Sometimes we think that babies don't get overstimulated, but they do, and I've actually watched it. If a baby is too crowded in and everybody is, oh, he's so cute or she's so cute, and everybody's paying attention, some babies don't like that and it makes them very nervous or overstimulated. And we must remember that. What they're saying to you is that they need space, or that's making them feel unsafe. How many of you want to feel unsafe? Anybody in the room? None of us. None of us want to feel that way. So, we have to have safe space. It does a body good. Safe space. When we think about our own capability, are there some times where you are feeling more stronger than other days? And let's talk about that. Are there any times that you're feeling more stronger than other days?
Yes.
Let's talk about it. What's that like for you, Trish?
It kind of concerns me because I feel like I have no balance because I want to feel strong all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But some days I feel overwhelmed, overstimulated, exhausted, so I don't feel the energy to put in all the effort for my inner strength to do things or to handle certain situations mentally. So I sometimes get concerned when I'm out of balance like that because I want to feel strong all the time, which in reality that I can't. But yeah, that's how I feel about that.
And you talked about balance, which is something we're going to talk about today in this podcast because, you know, we're all in different environments where we live, where we work, where we go to school. We're all triggered. And I like to say triggered because it's a word that we can understand, you know, where you know, sometimes you've got trains, automobiles, buses, and planes all going at the same time. So can you imagine how you would feel in a noisy environment versus if you were to take a vacation to a quiet island, how you would feel? Those are two different feelings. Did you all know that? Because when I immediately said that, could you feel the tension of the trains, planes, automobiles? Okay? It kind of reminds me of rushing. Rushing. But if you're sitting on an island and you're relaxing, your body is in tune to what is going on around you. And so we must find our balance, you know, to think, to place ourselves mentally in situations that calm the heart or calm the brain to find our balance. You know, it's like people say, well, I don't want to be here. People daydream, you know, where daydreaming was something negative, but it's really not something negative as long as you can get your work done. Why do people daydream? Because they'd rather be somewhere else. The brain has said enough of this. I want to check into something else as long as you come back from that daydream. You see it in the movies, you see it emulated in TV shows where people daydream. And we have to, as Trish said, finding that balance is important. Now, going back to strength, your capacity to be able to handle things or to act strongly is a challenge. Is a challenge. Because every day is not a good day for me. More than I could ever say it, I've learned that if this is not a good day, this is what I will not do. You see what I've done? I've said, if this is not a good day, this is what I will not do. Now, if you come a little closer, what do I mean by that? Well, if it isn't a good day, I'm going to maybe not do as much as I would have or that I would on a day that I'm feeling my strongest. Or maybe I'm not going to add on to the load that I have already. Because I have a lot of days that are not good days. But as I have become a counselor, certifiably so, I am learning those not so good days. And that's what we have to do. We have to trust our own insight to be able to say, and I want you to repeat this, anybody who's listening, today is not a good day for me. Everybody got that? See, because we don't want to hold that like it's taboo. We want to make sure that we are saying it's okay to have those not so good days. As long as you're coming back to yourself. But it is being able to identify the not so good days. Now think about this one. I want you to repeat after me. Today is a really good day for me. You know, the sun is out. Some of you thrive off of rain, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're feeling good today, you have to have the balance of saying, since I'm feeling good today, I will not. I will. See, without filling those spaces, if I'm having a really good day, nobody's going to come in and ruin that day for me because I'm in control of my feelings. Some of us thrive off of other people's emotions. Like, for instance, if someone walks in a room and they just kill your vibe, okay? They kill your vibe and you're not feeling so great because you're feeding off of the energy. Our song today by is talking about that by Morgan Luna. I just love me some her. In other words, you are responsible for your energy levels. And if you can't balance them or find a way to help yourself, I'm going to always encourage you to seek professional help. There's nothing wrong with that. I've had to have it. That's why I'm where I'm at. I'm able to help so many people because I need it. Life is a challenge. Many of us are disconnecting ourselves from relationships. If I had a dime for every time I have heard that, I'd probably be a millionaire. I'm sure of it. You know that one. I don't feel accepted. I'm having problems in my relationship. I'm not able to engage in relationships. It's complicated. If it sounds familiar, first we must find out about our core interest before we can get into relationships, because a lot of times maybe it's not that relationship, and sometimes it could be. But let's try to understand ourselves and find out what's a good place for us. When can we start to feel accepted? Because in reality, none of us are everybody's cup of tea. Literally. So when do we start to challenge ourselves to say, I want to be connected? I want to feel like I'm included in conversations. We do all this so that you guys can feel connected. You can say, somebody finally listened to me. It may not change in a day, but we do all this connection for you. You're able to get a hold of us. We're able to have interactive conversation around the world. Trish and I have had all kinds of conversations with you guys all around the world. And we hope in the minutes that we've talked to you that we have made you feel more connected. That you don't have to second guess yourself. That you don't have to feel like I'm out of place. I feel disconnected. Your value. Let's start with this. You matter. You matter. You matter. You see how that goes, the energy? No matter what you have been told, no matter what you have been through, you matter. Knowing this helps you have value. It's the same as you having a friend that you love. And if that friend said to you, I'm not worth anything, I don't matter because this, that, and the other, and you stop that friend after you've listened, what would you say to that friend? What would you say to that friend, Trish?
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry. It's like breaking up on my end. I'm sorry.
What would you say to a friend that came to you and said they feel unworthy? They don't feel value in themselves. They're not worth anything. What would you say to a friend? Let's learn this technique right here today so that we learn to project it on ourselves.
I would say that's not true. Yes, you are. That's what I would say.
Okay? And if I went around the room, many of you would no doubt say different things. Here's the point. Many of you would say different things because why? Because you love your friend. You see many things about that friend. And you want no doubt to be able to win that friend's attention so that they can go back to living. Let's switch. Maybe it's perhaps you that feels you're not worthy. There's no value in you. I want you to say that same thing that you would say to a very best friend or someone you loved. You ought to be loving yourself that much. Because it's hard for us to say that to ourselves. When people used to say that to me, I used to say, why? I'm not worth it. I used to really say that, guys. I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't. But you have to switch it. You must gain control. There is no pill that's going to make you feel like you're worth it. Now, you may have to get professional help to work things out, not just Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. I strongly urge you to do that if you should need that. When you do something and people tell you, I really like the way you do that, do you second guess them? Trish is really good in music. If I say to you, Trish, I love your music, and I've said that, how do you feel when people talk about your music?
Honestly, it's hard for me to take a compliment. I say I try, thank you, but I can do better. I say those things.
Yeah. So are you more acceptant of it over the years? Or you're still at that doubting yourself?
I'm more acceptant of my talents and the compliments, but I have some days where I second guess myself.
Yeah. Yeah. But you do matter. And what you do does matter. You know, Walt Disney, and I have to bring up Disney because Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is me. But when I think about Walt Disney, he was told that, Mickey Mouse wasn't good enough. The Mickey that we know today was not that first idea. In fact, it was a whole different character. Nobody bought it. But how many of us know Mickey Mouse? We all know that character. Why is that? Because you see what Walt Disney did. He believed. He believed in himself. Yeah, that part. Believed in himself so much that his wife Lillian Disney gave what is now known as Mickey Mouse his name. That's a cool fact, isn't it? All because of encouragement. You know, we think about choices that we make. We say things, we do things that affect our lives. We've done things that have impacted our life negatively. We've all experienced that. There's no perfect person, myself included. We say things that we wish we wouldn't have said. We've learned something along life's way. A little more self-control. Can you imagine if we were the people that we once were? You go back in your life and you think, oh, I said that, I did that. What changes are you willing to make to check in to your wellness? We see things on the way of life. Do you see yourself, your purpose in life, your validation in life? Do you feel like you're seen or you're heard? Sometimes people go to the extreme to be seen or heard. How many of you have seen people like that? Like they go through the excessive to the extreme to make sure that you see them. I'm going to leave that right there without getting into it. But how many of you have seen that? If they're really wanting to be seen.
I have.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know who you are. Seeking the need to be validated. Whereas you can find out once you start getting control of who you are and what you are and understanding your purpose in life and checking into yourself, you never had to do that in the first place. It's all about checking into you. We think about stability. You know, stability is manageable. Some people, though, may need a little extra help. You know that thing that I said about seeking professional help? I did not get to be where I am without the help that I needed in order to make my life manageable. I know you don't believe me, but I was a person that would not get out of bed. There was a time I didn't leave my house. And I started to engage with someone that helped me study the Bible. That was my choice. As you all know, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm a different person. So when I tell you about all these things, depression, I don't hold a PhD, but I can tell a little bit about something when you ask me, Miss Nisi, how did you overcome this? Support, encouraging me to live a little in a healthier way, because some of us live a little and we are destroying ourselves by the negative choices we make. And that's why we have to say, that's not for me. That's the song today, right? Our energy levels have to say that we are better than what we are doing when it comes to negativity. When's the last time you had fun? You actually got to play and you weren't worried about who saw you. I love to see children play because they're very creative when they play. During my years of teaching the younger ones in early development, you have the play center, and that play center is there for a reason. Trish, can you take over for about 5 minutes?
Yes. And I remember actually the last time I got to, I would say play. Yeah. The last time I got to play was this morning, actually, when I did a workout with my sister, and it was a dance workout. You guys know, for those of you who had this growing up, Just Dance growing up with the Wii, and you do the little dance on the mat, and there's a level. But now they have those videos on YouTube, so you don't got to worry about the level. You can just have fun. You can just dance. So, isn't that ironic? The game is called Just Dance, but yeah, that was the last time I had fun, and I try to make that part of my routine because when life gets too busy and things. Sometimes I forget to check in my fun side, my goofy side, my comical side. Those are good parts of me. So sometimes we need to check on those parts because sometimes when things get hard, we lose our humor. We lose our sense of humor. We lose we lose the laughter. We lose our smile. We lose our joy and happiness. And it's so important to tune into those things because when you tune in to that, you start to remember who you are. You start to notice who is in the mirror because why we checked into ourselves. We gave us that tap on the shoulder and said, "Hey, this is who you are. Remember me?" So, yeah, that's what checking in is all about. And I just love the fact that when I started dancing with my sister, it brought back the goofy side and the fun side of me. And that's an important part to check in with myself.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you. Had to step away for a moment, guys, but I'm here. Trish, thank you so much. Could not do it without my amazing co-host. So when we are playful, it doesn't mean we're immature. It means that we can have freedom of what we're doing on a daily basis. Let's see what that is. Working. Some of us work 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. And then we come home. We're still bombarded with work. And then what else do we do? We have families. Our families got to take care of them. But when do we really have freedom? When's the last time that you just felt like you just wanted to have a play day? Did you guys know that I have a play day? When is that play day? Every Thursday. Sometimes Saturday. But I make it a point on Thursdays to have an individual play day. Because you see, I need the balance of freedom from stress of work. We think about caring. On our Wellness Wednesday, today is especially, I love the green towel, and I like the tea, and I like the ambience of the candle. That's why we talk about candles. Send in your candles, and if you want to, you can send me a candle. I love candles. They just have to smell good. Caring about your hair. You know, sometimes I look at my swollen feet and I go, man, my feet look really bad. But how can I make it more attractive for me even though they're swollen? Because don't nobody want to look at your crusty feet. Okay? Don't nobody want to look at your crazy hair. When they see you, they know that you are the essence of beauty. You are the essence of essential. I care about my body. You know, bats. I have a friend, I always tell her, she loves her bats. I love when she does that. I love when she is able to soak in a tub. Do we do that? We take a shower. I mean, it's been really hot here in California desert. Oh my goodness. It is so stinking hot. It's been 103, 104, 5, 107. do we treat ourselves necessarily? Back to the feet. Just because my feet are swollen and I don't like the swelling, I can still cut my nails, my toenails, making sure that they look good. You know, I love the summer because the summer is where I'm going to wear the least of shoes. My sandals, my flip-flops, you know, a cute little anklet around my feet or ankle, excuse me. So I want to do that. That makes me feel good. When is the last time that you were proud of how you grew or what you've grown from? Anybody?
Um, the last time I felt proud of my growth is when I made a song about I like what I see. And basically, I was talking about I like my appearance, I like how I look, I'm proud of who I am right now. So that was the last time I was proud of my growth.
Yeah. You know something I like that you said about your growth right now? See, because we sometimes think so far ahead as if we're never going to get there. Trish said, here and right now, which means that she's in the present. Yes, it is good to think about our future because it gives us hope. But if you can't think about yourself presently, it would be a good thing to work on in the present, not in the future. See, if she would have said, I'll be happier in the future, that would have told me that she's still challenged with that. Thank you for that, Trish. We face our lions every day. We even have a day for that. Facing our lions on Friday. That is still a thing. But in reality, we are faced with challenges every day. We are so over it. By the way, I saw that, Trish, about the so over it. So we are faced. What are we faced with? Hardship, unforeseen experience, things that we've never had to face. A woman the other day was crying, and she had got a phone call that her son had died. And she was crying and crying and crying. We don't expect that. And I'm telling you guys this for a reason. You know those people you're not talking to? You know the family members that are getting on your nerves? It's a reality that we could be faced with the loss of them. Again, today's song so perfectly says about the negative energy. And I want to go back to Morgan Luna's song because we don't have to put up with the things. I've chosen not to put up with the negativity that goes on in the family. Do I love my family? Yes. And I want to say this so that I'm not red tagging. I'm just asking you to think about those moments and the moments that you will be faced with yourselves. I have more pain in my body than I have ever experienced my entire life. So every day is not a good day, the question is this: how do we make it well? How do we well ourselves when it comes to all these things? All these things that we must do. We must check in. When is it time to, though? When did you discover that it was time to check into your wellness? Because, after all, we're just Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast and healing center. Our life with so much going on provides for us challenges. Some of the signs for our paying attention: maybe you're more tired than usual. Is getting out of bed like the real experience that I once had? Are you feeling drained even after you have rested a full night? Are you losing enjoyment of life? Not only are you not able to take a break, you just don't have any motivation to enjoy any life. Well, what about when you're at work or school? Do you have challenges of staying focused? Your energy. We talked about that because that's important. And I don't want any of you to take that for granted. When I say energy, I'm saying mood. When you walk into someone's house, did you know that you could feel the energy in that room? Let's be real about that, because we use it in such a way that it's like one is for all, and that's not fair. When I walk into someone's home, I can feel either good energy there or bad energy. Even sometimes talking to people, you can feel their energy. But if your energy is low, what can you bring to the table of wellness? Sometimes paying attention. You know, like Trish and I, we talked about our wellness, being able to say when we feel good, when we don't, this is not a good day, this is the best day. You know, having fewer bad days and more of the good days, right? For me, when I light a candle, it's the ambience in the room. People burn candles for different things. My reason for burning the candle is because it sets the mood. And that's why I like the scent to be good, because if it's not a good scent, it's going to ruin the ambience. Right? So if you want good energy, what do you need to do? Well, you all know. A positive plus a positive equals what? A positive. You can only draw from that. Check into yourself. Check into you. I am a moody person. Just moody. And I have to watch that, because I can really be in a bad mood. And if I walk into the room, how am I going to affect people? We got to think about what we do at the table of wellness. Are we bringing the energy, whether it's negative or positive? Because sometimes when we leave the table, that energy stays there. Remember that. So these are all the things that we can watch out for. Feeling on the edge, more sadness than usual. Um, Excessive withdrawing from people. You're not yourself. You're avoiding life. You're Xing out life. You don't find joy in living. You're overwhelmed. You're feeling stuck. This is for a period of time. Difficulty falling asleep. Sleeping too much. Let's get into anxiety. Because I want to say something, and I think this is appropriate to say it. You're having anxiety. And these are for the people out there. What are you doing that may be unhealthy? Let's get into it. You know, it's okay to have a drink every now and then. But for the people that are struggling with wanting to become sober, we already know that it's not going to take one day. So I'm going to go back here because I feel that this is really important. When you're facing the wellness, are you a person that can drink, and still show up at work? There are actually people that are functioning alcoholics. But what could be the danger in that? Doesn't make you well or unwell. We think of other addictions, drug addictions. There was a case where a teacher, not in California, that showed up to her job on drugs. The police had to come to the job. And what did they do? Guided her out. It could be anybody. When you are dependent on alcohol, drugs, whatever your addiction is, you can be the average Joe. You can be the Mary that likes diamonds. You can be the teenage kid that has everything going for him. It has no name. And it wears anyone's face. Come a little closer. I said it has no name, but can wear anyone's face. So are these chemical dependencies, are you recognizing them, or are you happy the way that you are? Even sometimes people will take it to another level by people are emotional eaters. And we're going to really talk about that too, because I know people who are emotional eaters, and they have yet to claim that. Because it would be as if someone's saying you're greedy. No. They're emotional eaters because something is void in their life. Something is challenging them. Something is making them unwell. And so you become an emotional eater. I've never had that problem. But I've worked with people that have that problem. So how do we meet it with success? We have to recognize. I want you to be able to see it and catch it. And right now, I want you to do an exercise with me that I think is going to be truly effective. It'll make sense to you if you get in the habit of training yourself to do this. Whatever right now is something that you're doing to unwell yourself, I want you to see it in your mind's eye. Everybody ready? Whatever it is. And now it's coming at you, boom. But before that happens, I want you to catch it. Let's try that again. I want you to look at whatever it is that's making you unwell right now. And before it hits you, long head over the head with a quickness, catch it. You know what that's called every time you do it? Awareness. See, now you're going to be responsible for your seeing it and catching it. How many times have we said, I didn't even see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see it. But the more that we see it, it builds in us. How am I really doing? How are you really doing with that thing that you haven't checked in with, right? You're able to understand once you really have self-awareness that, okay, this is coming, I got it, you understand it, not ignoring it anymore, but I got it. I'm aware of it. I got it. It's going to take some time, but don't give up. Being regular. I feel, I need, right? People coming out of sobriety, addictions, or people who are trying to be sober, people who have addictions. I wish there would be more of I need instead of every day I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict. The more you say that to yourself, the more you're going to believe that as if it were no hope for the Alcohol Anonymous or Drug Anonymous. Sometimes those 12 steps may help, but you have to believe in it to achieve it. And I wish there would be more of self-awareness. I saw this one time where actually our office was next to, it was actually in the same center of the sober, or the drug narcotics. My office sat there, and so I was going in my office, and out comes somebody. They're humped out on the floor with a beer. Worse than that, I've seen vodka in all these little bottles. And I ask myself, that's not really helping. So sometimes, and I'm not knocking it, but I wish it was a little bit more extensive when it comes to the courts recommending that. Okay? Because these people will go forever and forever. I've seen people get help, get clean, and I've seen people rely on that as if it is a crutch and want to be sponsored. I've been asked to be people's sponsor. I'll tell you what, unless you catch it, unless you become aware of it, then you become well. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. So I want you to be aware of it and catch it. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast has people from all over. I want you to recognize that you matter. You will be faced with your lions. You will also know how to check into your lions. Check into them. Reach out for support. When you check in, it doesn't have to be so complicated. Here's some questions that I want you to answer, and then we're going to go directly to Trisha's Treasures. How am I feeling emotionally? How's my body feeling? What is it that I need at present? Just use that word so profoundly, at present, right now, I feel. I love that, Trish. Thank you for that. Have I been overwhelmed lately? What has been weighing on me? Why are we asking these questions? Because they are what, how, what and how. Okay? What do you think about? How are you doing? When somebody says, how are you doing? You can answer them because you are aware of how you're feeling. If you're feeling anxious, I need a moment. That's why, I used to get to work early when I started teaching. Get to work early. You got a bunch of 4-year-olds. Because that's how I started out, with a bunch of 4-year-olds. Get there early, because you're going to need many minutes to breathe. Because your classroom at about 8 o'clock, 8:30 is going to become overwhelmed because you've got different bodies, different kids feeling this way or that way, and you're going to need to give them your energy. So that's why I would get there early to prepare the room because, hey, my kids are coming in here. That's for you educators out there. But we have to take a few moments to just breathe. If your chest is tight, you're feeling any discomfort, prolonged prevention can save a life. So I don't want you to think that your tightness in your chest is related to a bunch of kids or a bunch of stress. Seek help immediately. Sometimes it's good to talk to people that you trust. If you need a break, give yourself that break. I used to literally, when my students went out to play, stand over in the corner where I could watch all my kids because I had a TA, which is a teacher's assistant, and eat my Reese's. And I did that often, not saying that you do this, but I love some Reese's peanut butter cups. And that was my break while they were yelling and screaming and just having a good old time. That was time for my break. Well, I could still watch them because I needed it. I want you to feel supported. I want you to know that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion, even if we're not on air, we are able to be contacted. And a lot of times people contact me. You can call in. You want a call back? You say, please call me. People text me to let me know how they're doing. I appreciate that. But life gets busy because this is my business, not only as a podcast host, but also as a business for people who need this kind of help. We're going to be right back, guys, with our very own Trish's Treasures. Trish, we look forward to you, and I'm going to let you start in just a moment while we take a break. We'll be right back. Hey guys, got a new book out. It's Men and Their Emotions. Check out my very first book. Decide which character are you most like, or which one is in your life. It's available now. Go check it out. We're back with Trish's Treasures. Trish?
So I gathered four main points for me about checking in. And first part, the first one I have on my checklist is being present, focusing on the now. And it's very important to do that when you're checking in. And when I'm checking in with myself, it's very important for me to do that because sometimes my mind goes back to yesterday. And it goes back to the what if and what will happen next. And sometimes that builds up fear, uncertainty, and it makes me overthink, and the checking in session ends very quick for me when I start thinking about the past and what I didn't do, and I should do this and I should do that. So it brings me to peace when I stay in the present. So that's the first thing on my checklist. So I'm going to check it right here. I'm checking it on my Chromebook. My new Chromebook is touchscreen, so I just got it. And so the next one I have is anytime. Meaning I can check in when I want to and when I need to. Anytime. There's no time limit, or there's no specific mandatory time for me to check in with myself. I can just do it when I need to do it. And that's the beauty of it. And I really love that because there's no pressure to do it. It just becomes a part of you eventually if you make it a habit when you check in with yourself. So I'm going to check anytime. The next part is part of the routine or schedule. Making checking in with yourself part of your routine and part of your schedule makes it be a part of you. It makes it a mental reaction, something that it just comes natural to you. It makes it normal. Checking in. When you do it more than one time, when you do it often, it becomes real for you. And it becomes a reality as well because sometimes we say we're too busy to do that. We don't have time. There's no time for me to even do this week. I can't do it. And the amazing part is when you make it part of your routine, it becomes normal. It becomes a reality to make it part of your day. For example, I haven't had my coffee yet. I was drinking water because that's something I need to work on, drinking more water. And I haven't had my coffee yet, but I promise you I'm going to get my coffee sometime today, which is amazing because, like we talked about with the second checkbox, which is anytime, you can check in with yourself anytime. Um, I can get my coffee anytime to get my energy going. Um, and that's why part of the routine and schedule is my number three from this topic for today. And lastly, my number four is getting to know the mood. Sometimes when we feel something, we are wondering, why am I feeling that? When did I start feeling like this? What caused me to feel like this? And that's what getting to know the mood is about when checking in with you. Getting to know how you react and what triggers you is so important. And there's a specific challenge that I've been seeing on TikTok, and you say a sentence, but it has different emotions while you're saying the sentence. For example, the sentence can be, "Hey, this is me today." How do you say it when you're happy? You can say, "Hey, this is me today." Or when you're sad, "Hey, this is me today." And when you're excited, "Hey, this is me today. I'm so excited." That sort of thing. So getting to know your mood is important when you check in with yourself. So I wonder what you guys have taken from this episode today on checking in on our Wednesday wellness about checking in with yourself. And I am encouraging you guys to think about how important it is to check in. And lastly, remember, you can always check in with yourself anytime, when you want to, and when you need to. Thank you.
Love that. That was beautiful. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Trish. Thank you for that. You want to hear more from Trish's Treasures? Please go to our YouTube page. And for those who are on our YouTube page, don't leave us because we still have so much to to talk about. Um, Check out our YouTube page. Don't be afraid to share, like, repost. As long as you're not changing our message, we are more than happy to have you share it. It does a body and a mind good. Thank you, Trish. You want to hear more of her music? Listen to her sounds. Trish is responsible for much of our music, like the one you just heard. I want to thank you, Trish. You're amazingly beautiful inside and out. I want to thank all my supporters for the 5 books that are out. Thank you. I hope there's going to be more. We have magazines coming out. We wanted to do it by the summer, but life just doesn't present itself. But we want you to really take a look at this book about men and emotions. I'm having a lot of my friends that are girls reading it as well because they get to see how to deal with those emotions. A lot of men may not talk as much as we women talk, but then I know some that sit down and talk just like women. So whatever the case is, I want to present it to everybody. In fact, I'm going to take it to my barber. I want to take it to him as a gift copy because it'll give them something to talk about. We're coming out with a lot more things. And I just want to add this before we go. Our workshop starts next week, Men and the Emotions. It is worth $50 the class. I've got everything set up. It's online, so you can take it online. Not only that, if you don't catch it in the 4 days that will be during the week, catch it on Saturdays. Okay, the time is there. Go to our page. We'll have Trish put it up, so that's the first thing that you see. If you click on our Facebook page, I'll make sure that it goes right to the sign up. You must pre-register. If you're pre-registering as a couple, only one of you have to pay. Okay? And you're going to get a free workbook. In addition to the story, you're going to get a free workbook. And that's all working on ourselves. Don't just think that you can click on, okay? And I want you to listen to this very clearly. You know how you can click on and you can get into Live Talk Facing the Lion podcast? If we see that you're on and we don't have your registration, you will be locked out of the class or the workshop. So we've got everything covered. We know when you have paid for the book, and all proceeds go to Live Talk Facing the Lion podcast to make us a better podcast. We love you, and we do hope that you do stay well, get well, be well. Have a good day.